questa dinamica di ascolto profondo vi invito a fare risuonare ciò che avete ascoltato, di poterlo segnare se volete, e in questo minuto di silenzio, per poi fare l'ultimo sforzo nell'ultima parte dei nostri lavori. Grazie.
Thank you. Now I will give the floor to Jérôme Fenoglio, Editor-in-Chief of Le Monde.
Merci beaucoup, merci pour cette discussion qui est tout à fait passionnante et à propos de laquelle je voudrais juste insister sur un point. Je crois qu'on est tous tombés d'accord pour se dire que les mots que nous prononçons, les mots que nous diffusons sont extrêmement importants pour accéder à la vérité, créer les conditions de la liberté et donc construire cette fraternité qui est la fondation de la dignité entre les êtres humains. Le problème, c'est que les personnes aujourd'hui qui sont les porteuses de ces mots, qui sont chargées de la diffusion, sont en danger. Il faut vraiment qu'on ne se quitte pas aujourd'hui sans que ça puisse être redit encore une fois fortement. Aujourd'hui, les artisans des mots que sont les journalistes sont en danger. On a eu hier, au cours de notre conférence sur les médias, la prise de parole très émouvante de notre ami d'Al Jazeera, et on voit à quel point aujourd'hui, des personnes dans le monde, à Gaza notamment, mais pas seulement, peuvent être tuées parce qu'elles sont journalistes. C'est quelque chose qui est absolument fondamentalement dangereux pour les objectifs que nous recherchons aujourd'hui. Mais il n'y a pas que ça, il n'y a pas que les journalistes qui sont en danger. Il y a des rédactions, il y a des newsrooms partout dans le monde qui sont également remises en question aujourd'hui. Remises en question parce qu'elles sont mises au service du divertissement, au service du business, au service de la marchandise, parce que l'information est parfois considérée comme une manipulation. Et ça, c'est extrêmement important de pouvoir y résister. Au monde, nous avons une histoire, 80 ans d'histoire, qui nous protège de ça. Mais en fait, il y a beaucoup aujourd'hui de risques autour de ça, et nous voyons partout dans le monde des rédactions qui sont dénaturées, vidées de leur substance et qui ne peuvent plus atteindre l'objectif que nous avons tous partagé aujourd'hui. Et le dernier point qui est fragilisé, c'est que ce n'est pas seulement les journalistes, les rédactions qui sont en danger, mais c'est également notre méthode de travail. Notre métier, c'est de faire des enquêtes, c'est-à-dire d'approcher de la vérité, c'est-à-dire de vérifier, c'est-à-dire de rectifier quand on se trompe. Et on voit bien aujourd'hui qu'à travers différents métiers qui portent ces enquêtes, ça peut être les magistrats, ça peut être les scientifiques, c'est également les journalistes, cette capacité à établir les faits, elle est fortement remise en cause, elle est fortement attaquée, elle est fortement menacée. Et donc j'appelle à cette fraternité autour de ces métiers qui sont essentiels avec tous ceux que vous représentez aujourd'hui pour atteindre notre objectif final de construire un terrain favorable à la paix. Merci à toutes et tous.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm giving the floor to Gilles Gressani, the Editor-in-Chief of Le Grand Continent. He's not here. So I will give the floor to Fabio Tamburini, is the Editor-in-Chief of Il Sole 24 Ore.
Buongiorno a tutti. 5 punti fondamentali che credo sia opportuno sottolineare perché fotografano quello che è la realtà attuale. Primo punto, economia, finanza umana, sistema basato sulla fraternità. Per quello che abbiamo sentito oggi, per le immagini che ho su questo apparecchio che mi sono arrivate da Gaza e non sono immagini fake, sono immagini di bambini massacrati, di bambini che piangono, di bambini senza braccia. Non ho avuto avuto il coraggio di pubblicarle. Ecco, per tutto questo potrebbe apparire la materia che ho sintetizzato prima, materia da appassionati di utopie. Invece non è così. Dobbiamo dire con assoluta chiarezza e determinazione che c'è il nostro impegno affinché si recuperi un sistema basato sulla fraternità e così via. Questo è molto importante. Secondo punto, oggi abbiamo un fenomeno più evidente di altri, di tutti gli altri più importanti. Oggi c'è un vuoto pneumatico di ideologie. Sono tramontate le ideologie e questo che erano molto diverse tra di loro, ma avevano una caratteristica comune, l'impegno sociale di chi ne era convinto. Questo sistema è tramontato e ha determinato un vuoto pneumatico che va a tutti i costi colmato. Terzo punto, avevamo un sistema, c'era un ordine mondiale basato sulla globalizzazione, sembrava destinato a durare all'infinito, è crollato e di questo occorre tener conto, occorre altro. Quarto punto, come si è inceppato un meccanismo? Il meccanismo si è inceppato perché si è determinato un nuovo ordine mondiale, un nuovo blocco di paesi e come occidentali dobbiamo renderci conto, l'Occidente non è l'ombelico del mondo, oggi c'è un blocco di stati, di paesi che rappresenta 2/3 dell'umanità, c'è un pendolo che si è spostato da Occidente a Oriente e questo sta provocando terremoti e sommovimenti tellurici come è sempre accaduto nella storia. Quinto e ultimo punto, 3 passaggi propositivi. Che cosa serve oggi? Primo, un grande movimento per la pace. L'intelligenza artificiale ha determinato anche un cambiamento nelle guerre e sempre di più nelle guerre muoiono i civili, ciò è inaccettabile. Secondo passaggio propositivo, la consapevolezza che occorre una ripartizione diversa della ricchezza. Negli ultimi 20 anni i ricchi sono diventati sempre più ricchi e i poveri sono diventati sempre più poveri. Terzo e ultimo punto, rubo le parole al cardinale Gambetti, serve una nuova comunità mondiale che sappia costruire un nuovo ordine di valori. Su questo deve esserci il nostro impegno per una società più equa, solidale, inclusiva, partendo dalla testimonianza che deve essere prima di tutto da parte di tutti noi di nuovi modelli di vita, promuovendo pratiche di vita che siano nel nome della fratellanza e dell'umanità.
Thank you very much. I will give the floor to Fatuma Said, Deputy Director of Partnership and UN Collaboration Division of Food and Agriculture Organization of United Nations.
Thank you. Good morning, and what's an honor to be part of this global discussion on human fraternity. This gathering today comes at a pivotal moment. Just a few weeks ago, the world leaders across the world gathered in Ethiopia, Addis Ababa, to commit to changing our food system within the context of the UN food system +4, because we realize that our food system today, as it is producing inequalities, leaving people behind, and creating more hunger. This is, in fact, as the last FAO food and food insecurity report, today we have 677 million facing hunger. Only comparing it to 2020, this figure has increased by 100 million. So these are not just mere statistics or figure, but is calling for a global action to transform this food system that is producing such a inequality, injustice, and harming the world. So at FAO, transforming the food system is at the heart of our work. We believe that we can produce more food with less resources to provide quality, sufficient food for our present generation, but also preserving the system to produce the same quality food for future generation. Respecting local knowledge, community practices can help us build a system that is resilient and can also be used for innovation. Innovation is not just technology and AI. We heard a lot of discussion about artificial intelligence. Yes, we can use artificial intelligence to help us have better system, more equality, and not being at the service. We all heard today from the previous speaker, not the human being be at the service of intelligence. So I would like just to end by saying that also one key figure is today, as you all know, 80% of our food at the table is produced by small farmers, especially women and youth. These are the people we need to empower to have a just system and a food for all. I thank you.
Thank you. Now is the turn of Sergio Davila, Editor-in-Chief of Foglio de San Paolo.
Thank you. We gathered yesterday as 20 journalists to reflect on the role of our profession at a moment of profound change. The conference centered on 3 pillars: human dignity, truth, and freedom. Before belonging to any creed or tradition, we are called to be human, to protect what is true, what is free, and what is sacred as a common good for all humanity. We drew inspiration from figures such as Maria Ressa and Graça Machel, who seek truth and as a guiding star. The spirit of dialogue demands passion and fraternity, but also a personal commitment to protect the dignity of every individual, including journalists in zone of war. Communication must be rooted in truth sharing, not indifference or violent debate, where character assassination and data manipulation spread like a virus. In that light, we recalled Pope Francis' call to tame ourselves rather than embrace a paradigm of war, learning to pacify our own language. We questioned algorithms designed only for calculation, yet now acting as guardians of our lives, locking us into nationalistic bubbles and shaping mentalities without real freedom. Which principles guide their design? What values should define research, education, and metrics? We noted the latest Reuters digital news report. Audiences are turning away from irrelevant stories, seeking education, inspiring content instead. The challenge before us is to resist corruption and the erosion of community, to restore news as a source of hope as well as information. To close my remarks, I'd like to thank Father Enzo Fortunato and the Fondazione Fratelli tutti. Father Enzo called yesterday's gathering of journalists as the G20 of communication, and I'd like to propose for us to keep in touch annually to discuss our profession. Grazie. Thanks.
Thank you. Now is the turn of Riccardo Viela, Director of Gruppo Globo.
Thank you very much. As a journalist, I'd like to use this time to emphasize 3 urgent steps to ensure journalism remains a tool for defending a more just and supportive world. First, we need to debate legislation to fight misinformation, but without compromising any aspect of values like freedom of expression and individual liberties. Second, we need to closely examine journalism's business models, ensuring that the pursuit of sustainability never comes at the expense of editorial independence, which is essential to journalism's public value. Third, we must make visible the complexity and effort behind news production, a process that involves methods, people, technology, and large resources. We need to be transparent about our values and practices and explain how editorial decisions are made and why certain facts are prioritized. This is essential to earn the trust of the public every day. I am convinced that when journalism is grounded in active listening, factual rigor, and a commitment to plural and democratic debate, it makes a powerful contribution, not only to strengthening this culture, but to building the more fraternal and humanistic world we all hope for. Thank you very much.
Now is the turn of Susana Vera, editor-in-chief of RPP Noticias.
Susanna Vera had to leave for an emergency, so she asked me to read her comments, if you don't mind. Thank you. Distinguished guests, before being believers, we are called to be humans, said Pope Leo at the beginning of his pontificate. And this morning I thought, before being a journalist, I am human, which means having empathy, compassion, even feeling nervous, as I do now, among many other emotions. Yesterday, at the Information Roundtable in which I participated under the topic, Disarming the Word to Disarm the World, I believe we were all deeply moved by the testimony of our colleague from Al Jazeera, who was here at the table, who showed us the pictures of 10 of her colleagues killed recently in the Gaza Strip. Do not forget Gaza, and do not forget me in your prayers. Humanity has failed our colleagues in Gaza, she told us all in the room. In fact, as we heard from Maria, more than 230 journalists have been killed since October 7th, 2023. Just a couple of weeks ago, journalist Mohammed Salamane, also reporting from Gaza, wrote a first-person article in El País of Spain and expressed a powerful truth. If we do not report what is truly happening, who will? Who will tell the world about the genocide of so many people if journalists give up? In 2020, the whole world experienced a pandemic. Everyone, regardless of religion, country, or race, was threatened by the same disease. In those difficult times, people with a strong sense of fraternity emerged: doctors, nurses, market and supermarket employees, among many other professionals, and workers who never stopped. And who else did not stop reporting on what was happening in the world? Journalists, who continued to tell the story and dismantle the fake news surrounding the COVID pandemic. It is not about wanting to be superheroes. It is about being humans. It is about fighting for truth and justice, about telling the story. We are a global community where the damage done to one affects all of us. And no one is saved alone. We are saved together. And to build peace is to act. Thank you.
Thank you. Now is the turn of Juan Aurelio Arvalo Miro Quesada, editor-in-chief of El Comercio.
Juan had to leave, so if I may, I can read his words. Journalism is based on securing people, connecting them, and helping them understand the world. To practice journalism with a human face means that stories should not reduce people to statistics or labels, but portray them with dignity and respect. It means that we reflect different points of view with empathy and fairness. These are times where people find out more and understand less, where technology allows us to connect like never before, to connect like never before. But at the same time, algorithms create echo chambers that divide us. Access to information has never been so broad, but disinformation spreads with an alarming speed. In this complex landscape, the role of journalism is not only to inform, but also to build bridges of understanding, to give context and defend facts. Maria Ressa said yesterday, with no facts, there is no truth. With no truth, there is no trust. Society cannot exist without trust. If we are able to renew trust, defend truth, and tell stories that bring people together, we will not only be doing journalism, but also nurturing fraternity. And fraternity today is the very foundation of society. Thank you.
you. I will give the floor to Tony Gallagher, Director of Times.
Cardinal Gambetti, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. At the information roundtable yesterday, we heard words like integrity, trust, public interest, misinformation, how lies spread at 6 times the speed of facts. But as we reflect on the words that define the humanity we strive for, I would say the most important word we heard was truth. I've been a journalist for 4 decades, and the best work I've witnessed has brought to the surface truth, by which I mean critical facts which, once exposed to daylight, can help create a more just society. Truth is often multi-dimensional, be it the suffering of Israeli citizens murdered by Hamas in October 23, or the killing of ordinary Palestinians thereafter. A focus on a single dimension of a conflict, a single truth, cannot lead to peace. Peace can only come about once both parties are prepared to recognize and respect each other's truths. In a new era of global conflict, surfacing truth has never been more important as a means of bringing people together. What we consider to be true is being challenged from a variety of sources. Politicians who seek to frighten electorates in order to gain power. Social media echo chambers, AI-powered errors. We need an antidote to those forces of division. Agreeing on the truth and its complexities is a critical foundation. To quote our former Prime Minister Winston Churchill, "The truth is incontrovertible. Malice may attack it, ignorance may deride it, but in the end, there it is." Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now is the turn of Al-Khatib Dima, Managing Director of AJ Plus Channels.
I'm a Palestinian journalist and a very angry one today because fraternity is broken. For almost 2 years, the Palestinian people have faced genocide by Israel, their stories and their lives erased, sometimes twisted by many mainstream media. Palestinian journalists are hunted. 249 are already gone, an all-time record for journalism. 10 of them are Al Jazeera journalists, killed to eliminate the truth carried by the witness. These are their faces. And those who remain still endure forced starvation, forced displacement. This is deliberate state policy, not accidents of war, that you are all watching live on your phones. Now, truth and dignity are the 2 words that were repeated yesterday in our roundtable. Also, verification and fact-checking. Unfortunately, some media pick and choose when to embrace those basic values and when not. Unfortunately so, when told by Israel that journalists are terrorists in Palestine, they choose not to verify or fact-check, not to seek truth and dignity for those journalists. They end up echoing the perpetrator's message, justifying genocide, thus manufacturing racism and prejudice, and mask them in the language of right and objectivity. Silence, complicity, dehumanization, the chain that sustains impunity, the chain that kills. Yet humanity does not vanish, it rises, it has risen before. In Al-Andalus, under Islamic rule, there was one culture. It embraced 3 religions, Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. Fraternity thrived. How, you might ask? Well, through 3 fundamental pillars of intercommunal life: peace, knowledge, and love. Because yes, love is very important, because hate is what drives to dehumanization. Hate is derived from racism, from ignorance, from disinformation. And on social media, you see Palestinian journalists telling their own stories. They confront dehumanization with dignity, and people amplify their messages, and then they take action. They demonstrate, they boycott, and now they're sailing to Gaza. This is fraternity, solidarity, and hope. To practice journalism with a human face is to protect dignity, not destroy it. It is to serve the public, not power. It is to stand with humanity, not said, let us live well, and the times will be good, because we are the times. We are the times here. We shape how humanity will be remembered. We are participants in the moral horizon of our time. Gaza today, who is next? If we allow this massacre to pass in total impunity, then there will be a next Gaza. There were 26 Yemeni journalists massacred this week on Wednesday. Did you hear the news? 26 in one go, because we've normalized the killing of journalists. Now it doesn't matter when 26 journalists are killed in one go. Did you hear the news? I'm sure you didn't. Humanity needs true journalists, and journalists need solidarity from colleagues to remain alive and to tell us their story, regardless of their race, color, name, religion, or origin, and be protected as a dignified human being. Not write farewell letters to be read after their killing, because humanity did fail them, and they knew it was going to fail them, and they wrote the letters because they knew they were going to be killed. Time is up for me. Actually, time is up for us. Time is up for humanity. I'm an angry mother, I'm an angry Palestinian, and an angry journalist. When I see fellow journalists, mothers, Palestinian, are writing their letters to their children that we are reading, and I will allow myself to read 2 lines of that. This is from Maryam Abu Dagga. She was killed in a targeted bombing of journalists in Al-Nasser Hospital in Khan Yunis in the south of Gaza. And you saw that live on TV. Her son's name is Ghaith, which means the rain. Ghaith, the soul and heart of your mother, I want you to pray for me. I don't want you to cry for me. That way I'll be happy. I want you to make me proud and be a brilliant student, to be strong and become a well-grounded businessman. I want you not to forget me, my son. I did everything so that you're well, happy, and comfortable. I worked to give you everything you needed. When you grow up and get married and have a daughter, do give her my name, Maryam. You are my love and my heart. You are my support and my soul. You're the son who fills me with pride, and it always makes me happy to know that you have a good reputation. I ask you to pray, and never stop praying, my son. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I will give the floor now to Luke Nosek, co-founder of PayPal. Luke is not here, maybe? No, he's not here. So I will give the floor to Stuart Russell, professor of computer science at UB Berkeley and founder of Center for Human Compatible AI.
Thank you. As Father Benanti said, our table is concerned about the misuse of AI, its role in dreams of global domination, and the potential for loss of human control. We will continue to fight against these outcomes. But let me talk about what AI could be. We could create machines whose only purpose is to further human interests, the interests of every human being. This formulation emphasizes our common humanity. It also gives every machine a common purpose, thereby avoiding conflicts among machines. And it may come as a moral shock for us to witness truly altruistic entities with no interests of their own. Furthermore, machines can contribute to human interests by encouraging cooperation and altruism among humans. In other words, such machines would necessarily work in favor of fraternity. It
also seems horrible that they will work to ensure the prevalence of truth in the public sphere, which, with Maria Ressa and other speakers today, I view as the most important political project we face. Without truth, no human institution can endure. So every human institution must participate in this project. Finally, there is the question of coexistence. Can humans flourish side by side with AI systems that far exceed our capabilities? Is this a world that you would want for your children or grandchildren? If not, then well-designed AI systems that prioritize human interests will simply leave us to our own devices, perhaps remaining available to help in the case of real rather than self-inflicted emergencies. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. I will give the floor to Max Tegmark, professor at MIT and MIT and president of the Future of Life Institute.
Max had to leave, unfortunately.
Here. So I will give the floor for the last speech of today to Professor Tiziano Onesti, that is the president of Bambin Gesù, that is the Holy See Children Hospital.
Thank you very much. I took some notes. I would like to draw attention to the fact that fraternity requires the implementation of concrete actions. Concrete actions require resources. In the healthcare sector, which concern me most directly, it's urgent and imperative to review the distribution of all resources among the various stakeholders responsible for carrying out these concrete actions. The most relevant responsibility goes to, in my opinion, to the institutional power. It, first of all, must assume a mindset inspired on a long-term period to research the equilibrium between the instances of these people, put in the center human dignity. The allocation of resources must be based on a renewed utility function, which is surely multidimensional, that is a system for guiding choices that also embraces at each level the no longer deferrable value of fraternity. And today we have the tools to do it. Thank you very much.
We have just been joined by the mayor of Rome, who is hosting us here. So can we please have your very brief remarks? I'm being instructed to give you 1 minute. Yeah. No.
Thank you, thank you. I will stick to this timeline because I wanted just to express gratitude for organizing this fantastic world meeting on human fraternity again here in Campidoglio. We consider this initiative fundamental because of the people that are gathered here, the enormous quality they also heard from the speeches, but also for the very basic principle that is behind this initiative. The idea that fraternity needs absolutely, especially in this time where violence are reaching a level unprecedented for the last decades, needs to be a basis for a really paradigm shift. Fraternity not just as a moral principle, something we have to do in order to be good, but fraternity as a cognitive basis and basic anthropological, cognitive, political, societal basis for understanding what is happening and for finding the solution. This is required really a leap ourselves normally in our society. It means really taking seriously what Pope Francis said in this fantastic speech and also in the Fratelli Tutti during the COVID, that we are really everybody on the same boat, that we will never be able to define a solution to our common problem if we consider ourselves not as a single entity separated which needs to pursue its own self-interest, self-good, but as a part of a broader family, which is the human family. And this is not so simple as it seems to make this shift forward. It requires a lot of concrete action in order to be coherent with this basic, I would say, philosophical and of course also religious principle in all our areas of action. We are developing very clearly the awareness that, for instance, as a governing a city, if we want to make certain shift that make our city more resilient, more able to address some common goal, we need to restore the sense of community among citizens, not just having top-down solution, but putting together top-down and bottom-up solution. And this value becomes a fundamental element that links together all this. In substance, as in conclusion, because I need to debrief, we will never, that's what we are learning every day more, we will never reach neither freedom nor equality without the fraternity. So restoring fraternity as a basic principle, both from an anthropological, as a philosophical, and economic and societal principle on how we see and we act, is the basis. So in a moment where a lot of news seem to go in the opposite direction, and also here I was really moved from what was said about Gaza, of course, and what we see every day. We really should take extremely seriously what Pope Francis wrote in his Fratelli Tutti, what the foundation is trying to do to learn us and put all the intelligence that want to contribute to define this common path at work together. I finish just with a note of optimism after all these pessimistic elements that surround us. In August, in the Jubilee of the Young People, we saw 1 million of young people from all over the world, different language, different countries, that were feeling themselves fratelli tutti, first of all. So the world has also the antidote to this moment of fragmentation and permanent conflict, and we need to make leverage on this fundamental concept of fraternity. And having here some of the most brilliant intelligence of the planet to decline this concept in the very specific fields is for us very encouraging. So the City of Rome is with you, and the City of Rome thank all of you. And thank you, of course, Mr. Cardinal. Thank you.
Bene, l'ultimo minuto di silenzio lo possiamo vivere in questo modo. Ciascuno raccolga le frasi che lo hanno colpito, le parole di questo ascolto profondo che è passato anche attraverso il nostro cuore, e segni, se può, anche senza firmare, la frase che diventa un impegno con cui noi avviamo nei nostri mondi questo processo sinodale. E poi lo potete consegnare alle nostre ragazze che ci aiutano, perché poi come fondazione noi raccoglieremo tutte le vostre frasi e ve le riconsegneremo, perché come i semi possono diventare piante e alberi per dare ossigeno al mondo. Possiamo fare un minuto di silenzio e scrivere la frase.
dear friends, I believe each one of us came to this meeting with an expectation of listening, learning, and be enriched. I believe we all be fair to understand that no one can, in a short statement, try to summarize what has been the bold vision, huge commitment, which has been designed since yesterday, and it continued this morning. Pope Francis gave us a huge challenge to redefine, not only in words, what we understand as being human, but particularly those of us who have been here in Rome last year and now, to represent the large of the billions of human beings today, for us to lead a movement which is really to redefine, to give a different concept, a different way of living, of being human. We said at the beginning that this gathering is not the end. On the contrary, it's the beginning of a long journey. It is the beginning of a transformational process which has to happen first within each one of us, because history has said we have to be at this place, at this time, and to be able then to take this responsibility. We are not the best of all, but we happen to have been here, and this gives us a very special responsibility. There are words which were very much repeated: dignity, truth, courage, solidarity. And in my language, as a Bantu person, which we say, I am because you are because I am. That's the understanding of solidarity for us. We had words of justice, fraternity, and really, again and again, what it means to be human. Now, I would like each one of us, more than the sentence which we have been asked to write down, it's really to genuinely ask ourselves, what else am I going to do more than what I was doing before I came here? What else I am going to be better than the human being I used to be before I came here? What is my commitment to this very challenging question of me being human so that I can have the courage and the ability to spread this movement. No one will be able to build this movement if you have not accepted to transform yourself and to accept that you were given the privilege of being one of the members of this very first assembly, World Assembly. And we say with the privilege, it comes responsibility. So what is going to be your personal responsibility, but also the responsibility of the institution in which you are working, in which you are giving value to your contribution? What is the responsibility you are taking for the networks you have? All of you here, you have huge networks of very influential people. How are you going to make this movement of transforming our world to be and to become really human? How are we going to make this movement contagious to millions of other people? Nelson Mandela once said, amongst many other things, it seems, he said, it seems impossible until it is done. The world today is at this stage, very specific stage, which eloquently was described yesterday and today. But it's a fruit of human making. It is a fruit of human making. And if we internalize that we need to transform our world to become really human, it's because we recognize we have the power, we have the capacity, the ability. More importantly, we all have the resolve to make it possible, to reverse all the ills we are aware of. We talked about them, but more importantly is we internalize that, yes, it's my responsibility. It is our collective responsibility to make sure that we begin this journey of transforming our world so that our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren will remember it started upon the command of Pope Francis. It continued with the leadership of His Holiness Pope Leon XIV. And we all responded that, yes, we are here. We are soldiers. We are ready. Our children, our grandchildren, and great-grandchildren have to remember that yes, and they will name us one by one because they are our own blood. They will name us. My grandfather, my grandmother was there. He and she, they started. And they have to be proud enough to recognize that yes, our actions have offered them a world in which I'm going to use the words of someone here who said, no one is safe until we all are safe. They will have to be able to say this. Someone else who said, yes, my grandmother and my grandfather accepted to reignite the fire from inside for the transformation which those generations, will take as our gift of life to them. I have been very privileged to be asked to chair this very first World Assembly for Human Fraternity. With humility, I never took it easily. It gave me sleepless nights. But particularly from yesterday to today, I measured myself. I said, what am I going to do? Sitting at that chair. Now, I feel I am going to share that with humility, to share that responsibility, that sense of uneasiness, but at the same time, the courage and the resolve, because we are all here. We are, because each one sitting next to me is. If we take it that way, the weight of that responsibility being shared, then we will also have the strength of going back to our families, to our place of work, to the places we are living, and to accept to hold the torch which we have been given by our leaders. And I'm turning now to His Eminence, Cardinal Yameti, and to say, with your wisdom and with your leadership of the foundation, Tutti, Fratelli, yes, on your behalf I say you can count on us. You can count on each one of us. We will be there. And we will not be found wanting in whatever it is in our capacity to carry this historic responsibility of, yes, being just torchbearers. Torchbearers. And when we walk, when we sleep, whatever we do, the torch has to be always kept high, to be seen and to be felt in every corner of the globe as we represent around this room. Thank you very, It is my honor and privilege to have chaired this gathering, and now it is also my honor and privilege to declare it closed. Thank you. I wanted to say, you know, when you are talking, sometimes there are things which I wanted to say to the young lady from Palestine. Yes, you are right to be angry. But more than angry, you have fired us. And we'll take your words, your commitments, including the faces of your colleagues you showed us. Yes, we'll take them as our own matters. And we will not turn our back. We will never turn our back to the people of Palestine. Because any living human being today, I am sure, they cannot, any living person cannot miss the responsibility of saying, this is man-made, and this has to be also changed by our own hands. So our love, our solidarity, but more than that, our commitment, hand in hand with you, journalists, men and women and children of Palestine. Yes, the day will come, Palestine will be